Welcome back to London, guys. We've had our first result of today. Congratulations, Mickey. Thanks for joining us. So it looked as though early in the game, Judith was having, well, a lot of thought about the opening. Do you think you surprised her with this?
Well, she didn't actually have any games after G3. Of course, she played 2E6 a lot in the Sicilian.
Yeah.
I think she had some games with 3D3, which is a bit similar. So I wasn't sure which line she would play, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, I mean, she was thinking a bit. I think she played quite normally. I mean, up until Rook D1. I mean, I think this was all stuff I was looking at. I mean, maybe White could also play E5 instead of ED5.
So we've seen other English players play this 3G3 move. Was that what inspired?
Yeah, I mean, Gawain has done very well with G3. Luke McShane's also played it a few times. I mean, Gawain's book, he also wrote quite a lot about this system, his book on the Sicilian defence, which was probably when I first started to take it a bit more seriously when I looked at that book and entered some lines. Okay. So Rook D, I mean, I just thought this was the key moment because I thought Black would play Knight D4 here. This was the move I was looking at in my home analysis. And, well, White would capture and play C4, I guess. And we get a kind of reverse Benoni. It's not clear whether Knight would go maybe to B4, maybe to C7, I don't know. D3, A5. So something like, I thought she was going to play something like this. I mean, it's certainly a good Benoni, but... you know, a good Benoni is, I don't know whether it's such a, I mean, probably, I mean, neither me or Judith normally play positions like this, really, because we're both E4 players. So we probably didn't have much experience, and maybe that's why she didn't go for it. Because she thought for quite a while, actually. But I think Black just has to, because in the game I had very easy play, it seemed to me. Maybe it's not a big advantage, but it's just quite pleasant. So... yeah, she took on D4, Knight takes... I thought maybe Queen B6 there, I don't know if that's a possible idea. Because if I take on C6, B takes C6, C4, Bishop A6 is a bit annoying. I mean, if I play it, like for instance, B3, Bishop F6, Bishop B2, Bishop takes C4, there's some problems. So I thought maybe Queen B6 was the idea. Maybe I don't take on C6. Perhaps I would just move the knight back to F3 and try and play C4 next. But maybe it's better to keep more pieces on because the simplification maybe helped me.
Okay, so it looks really pleasant for you.
Yeah, I mean, in the game it's sort of quite forcing, really. Rook D1 and just C4 is coming.
Yeah, and now again, Judith started to think about Queen C7, and in this position, I guess you weren't too concerned with damage to the structure after Bishop takes C4.
No, I mean, again, Knight B4 was probably, I was thinking more Knight E7 or Knight B6.
Right.
I mean, I was looking quite a while at Knight B6. I thought this was maybe the best chance. I think I should play Knight A3, and then I was thinking Bishop D7, Bishop F4 I was looking at, and I thought Queen C8 here. Right. And I wasn't, you know, because there are some possibilities here. For instance, if Knight B5, I was looking at this line E5, Knight D6, and Bishop G4. And then I was thinking maybe here, Black, it starts to get a bit random. So I was thinking this was maybe the best try. Lots of pieces hanging everywhere. Right. And otherwise, she's ready to go Bishop C6. I don't know, it looked more natural to me than Knight B4, which looked a little bit in mid-air, really.
So, in a lot of these variations, it looks as though you play Bishop F4, trying to provoke the C5 move.
Yeah, well, Bishop F4, it's kind of nice to weaken the D5 square and the light squares, and also it blocks the dark square bishop once she plays E5.
So something like this is...
Something like that looks quite nice, and I'll continue Rook C1. I mean, even Knight B5, if I can swap those pieces, looks kind of pleasant. Or even C5 also, now that the knight doesn't have the D5 square anymore.
Okay.
So how about knight e7? Sorry, you mentioned that.
Knight e7, I was probably going to play knight c3 anyway.
So a couple of people were wondering about bishop takes c3 in this position and whether there was any difference.
Yeah, I don't know if I take. I wasn't sure. I mean, we could have this in the game also. Probably knight c6. I mean, I thought that was maybe her plan. Bishop a3, I play. I mean, I think rook d8 loses. I take and queen e5, and there is some horrible back. No, take on c6 and queen e5. And I think the back rank gets destroyed. There's some funny variation, queen b6, bishop c5, queen a5, I think bishop takes a7 wins it.
Wow, that's nice.
But of course she should put the rook on e8 instead of d8. I was thinking about this, I was thinking bishop d6, queen a5, and I was thinking maybe queen b2. And I don't know, she can try e5, I wasn't sure, there's some queen b5 possibility or rook d5. I mean, I think white has some. White's certainly doing well, or I can also put the bishop on d5 and just, White's got the advantage, but maybe it's a better way to do it because there's some stability in black structure. Right. I mean, I didn't really see a better move than knight c3 anyway, so I kind of thought that would happen against knight b4 or knight e7.
So after knight b4, we got a little further on. And I guess Judith's just trying to prevent your pieces from infiltrating for the moment. You've provoked c5.
Yeah, bishop f4 wasn't the only way, but in the end I went for the most direct. I thought, okay, just try and go for. Yeah,
your play around this stage was very direct. In fact, it's quite a committal decision, I guess, to play knight
b5. I sort of went for the maximum. I just thought, I mean, maybe she could play bishop f5 instead of bishop e6 as well. Yeah. I wasn't. Okay. It looked dubious, but I didn't completely refute it either. Maybe it's a better possibility. There are lots of ways for white to get the advantage, but maybe nothing completely deadly. I don't know. I didn't see anything completely clear there.
So when this exchange happened on d5, did you feel as though?
Well, I mean, I'd sort of already seen this bishop b6, and I thought this was a strong move.
Yeah.
I think this move is important. Otherwise, it's not that clear. But this bishop b6 is very strong. So I mean, bishop f5 is more or less forced. Because because also it prevents bishop d8, because then e5 is hanging, which is important, and also prepares rook a c1. Because if I go rook c1 immediately, rook c8 doesn't really go anywhere on the previous move. Okay. But now after bishop b6, I thought it was difficult for black.
So we actually had a passed d pawn in another of the games. Were you pretty confident this would be a strength rather than a weakness then? I mean, a couple of people were wondering.
I wasn't that sure. I knew my position was, probably good. I wasn't sure how good it was, but I realised if it was good, it was probably going to be winning, which is why I went for this. If things go well, white will just win kind of quickly. That was why I put the pawn on d6. That was my feeling.
Okay, so over the next few moves, Judith made an exchange, but then
I don't know about rook e8. It doesn't look right somehow, but it is difficult to give her good moves here. Yeah. But somehow rook e8, I then had so many d7 possibilities later, but it looked kind of wrong. But maybe there just aren't any good moves. I don't know.
Well, this bishop on c7 now is, in a sense, it's cutting the black pieces off from protecting.
It's difficult because she can't move the bishop because e5 is hanging, so that's the big problem.
So really tied down. Okay, so we just go a little further on. That's quite a strong move you played.
Yeah, I mean, rook e6. There was sort of there's a nice variation there. If she went like, I don't know, say f5, I think I can take on c8 and play d7 there. Which is a bit of fun. So no, rook e6 was the only move. And I have to have a little bit of a think here, because, for instance, queen c6, she can play rook takes c7. Maybe here. There are some possible defences.
Sure.
So my rooks. So I have to be a little bit careful here. But I think the move I played, which is quite good. I mean, also this rook c5 was quite a nice square, because I'm hitting the pawn along the fifth rank as well. But it's just really defending everything.
Yeah. Okay, so now it looks as though it's kind of, it's It's almost beyond desperate for Judith. She starts to create some threats here, but I guess it's just a case of not...
Yeah, I mean, I'd seen this rook f6 that I could take and come back to e2.
Right.
It sort of covers everything quite nicely, so... I mean, there's probably a few ways to win here. Rook takes e5, I kind of realised was quite straightforward.
Okay,
yeah, and queen takes b2, you know, just rook f1, and there's no...
Okay, yeah, there's no way to prevent the promotion of this pawn. Okay, well, fantastic start to the tournament, Mickey. 2 wins under your belt. Feeling pretty good about things at the moment?
Well, yeah, feeling a bit surprised, but yeah, there's plenty of tough games to go. But no, of course, it's great to have won 2 games. I mean, you know, it's not easy to win games in this event. To have won 2 already is, well, it's more than I managed in any previous year anyway. So okay, it's nice.